Call in by clicking the link in the stream's description. The professor wants to hear from you.
Beginnings on the cusp, not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup, something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good car.
Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back and focus on what's in front of me. Everybody dates a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Isn't it lovely?
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am Professor Bear, and this is a Bear's Thought. And today, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I tell you I was a wrestling fan since I can remember, my dad would take the family and we would go see wrestling live, and it's just in my blood. So I was lucky enough to start working at Toys R Us, and lo and behold, we got wrestling figures in. So I'm snatching them up left and right and left. Well, years went by, and one day I said, I'm going to clean out my garage a little bit. And lo and behold, I found all these action figures. I'm like, wow, man. And I said I was going to save them and pass them on. And then I'm thinking, man, my kids are not into that. Man, I'm going to go get me a little money out of these. And I found the best shop in East Tennessee. They are Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. Guys, when I tell you, your mind would be blown going in their shop. They have everything containing the wrestling. They have old magazines. They got championship belts. They have DVDs, VCR tapes. They have everything involved with wrestling. Plus, man, they have comic books. They have other toy collectibles. So if you ever in the market for needing or wanting just to reminisce, you should go to Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. And you just saw the QR code pop up. If you scan that, that will take you to their Facebook page, and you can see what I'm talking about. Plus, they actually do sometimes mail and sell stuff. So check them out. Now, today's guest. Now, I always say this, and I mean it from my heart. My guests are special to me, but this one here is ultra special because yesterday I had a WWE legend, and today I have one. Guys, girls, if you don't know who this man is, something wrong with you, first of all. But this is my man, Ahmed Johnson. Sir, how are you doing today?
Hey, brother, I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, just happy and blessed.
Sound like you are.
So I always ask my guests, this is the first question. How did you get to liking wrestling? Was it when you were younger, or even if you didn't like wrestling, how did you get into it?
Well, I watched it when I was younger. I watched Dick the Bruiser, Crusher, Junkyard Dog, Ernie the Lad. I watched characters like that growing up, and I wasn't really interested in doing it. And I moved to Houston after I left the Cowboys. I moved to Houston, Texas, and I hooked up with Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat.
Right.
And Stevie and I were like brothers, man. We were real tight. And so I was Stevie, and Stevie was a wrestling junkie, man. I mean, he loved professional wrestling. And so Ivan Putski opened up a school in Houston. And then Stevie asked me whether I want to go to the school with him, with Ivan Putski. And at first I was like, nah, man, I don't want to get in that, wrestling. I played pro football, military, I've done my thing. And he's like, no, man, I really want you to go with me, man. So I was like, okay, I'll go. So I went with him, man, and we found out we were pretty good at it.
I remember that, and so much. One thing about wrestling is you can see people all over and y'all change your names and stuff. But I remember the first time I actually saw you, and it was in Global Wrestling Federation. and you were a beast then, because of course, being black, of course we automatically go to the black wrestlers, whether I like you or not. I always try to find out about you and give support. And I kept thinking when I saw you, I'm like, man, that dude looked like he could really rip somebody in half. And it was amazing. I didn't realize that you and Stevie Ray were real as close as y'all portrayed in WCW. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to know that. So
yeah, we were really.
So with that,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So I am correct with y'all. Your first time you started was in Global, correct?
Yes.
Okay. From Global, yes. Where did you go?
I did some independent circuit stuff. Then I went to Japan for a while and trained over there for a little while. I trained over there with Kendo Nakasaki.
So and it's amazing to me also when wrestlers get a chance to go over to Japan, your style changes because you have to get tough.
Yes.
And that's something that I always look at, and I'm like, oh, if I find out someone went to Japan, legitimately, I'm like, I'm not messing with them. They are legit. You got to be a different type of athlete to work in Japan.
Yes. They don't play down there, man. Going to Japan was an eye opener when I got in there to the dojo, and they was chopping for real and hitting for real and kicking for real. Not enough to kill you, but enough to let you know you've been kicked. And boys in Japan they were rough, man.
But with that experience, I bet that just gave you a different outlook on your wrestling style and letting you know, okay, I can be a little bit more tough. I don't have to hold back as much.
Right. Because then they demand that you let them feel it when you hit them. They said, they want to feel it. They don't feel it, they consider that an insult. So yeah, I learned how to lay them in there, man. And when I got to the United States, that didn't transfer too good over here. The boys were complaining that I was hitting them too hard and this, that, and other. So, it is what it is.
Well, and that's the thing too. again, for Japan, the West and the East culture of wrestling is totally different. And I always find it kind of funny that you will complain, hey, he's being too rough, and you can give it back just as rough. So I never understood that
Yeah.
complaint.
You know,
And
the
it's
only time they would go to like Mr. McMahon and cry is when they didn't like you. They would go say, "Oh, he was too rough in the ring," or like when I was going to get the Intercontinental belt, a lot of people started complaining. "Oh, he's hitting too rough. He got through it in school. He's hitting too rough." But I mean, to me, man, I just, you know, in front of the audience, they can see what's going on. I'm not going to fake too many punches. But they gonna know when Ahmed Johnson get in the ring, somebody about to get their butt whipped.
and it was so funny for me at that time watching you, especially you and Goldust. I thought because
Oh,
yeah, I know my wrestling, so I know guys and I know some of the backgrounds and stuff. So with Goldust, I always thought to myself, okay, that's Dusty's son. He's gonna go. He's his daddy raised him in the business, so he should know how to
right.
go. So how did you get to the WWF?
You know, I had a match at Global with Michael Hayes and the Freebirds. And when we got done, Michael Hayes was so impressed. He came back in the locker room and was like, "Look, man, you should be in the WWF, man. You don't belong down here. You should be in the WWF." And I was like, "Yeah, nobody's called me. I had no real interest in going." He said, "I'm gonna get you up there when I go up there. I'm gonna get you up there." And brother, he kept his word, man. He got up there. Next thing you know, a couple of months later, I get a phone call, and it's Vince McMahon on the phone. And he's
Wow.
telling me, "Hey, I'm gonna send you a first class ticket. I've seen your film. I watched tape on you. I want to send you a first class ticket to come to Stamford, Connecticut, to the Titan Tower. I like to talk to you about hiring you." And so that's how that got started. Michael Hayes got me started in it.
With with Michael Hayes is you hear so much about Michael Hayes, but is
Yeah,
he's just seems like he is just one of the coolest people on earth.
yeah. Either you like Michael or you don't, and he's the same way. Either you like him or you don't. You know, him and Mark Henry can't stand each other, but I can't stand Mark Henry either. But Mark Henry said that Michael Hayes called him a nigger. But Mark Henry lied so much, you don't know what to believe, man. And talking about how racist he was, I'm like, he can't be all that racist. I mean, he got me, somebody he didn't even know, a black kid that he thought had potential. He got me up there, so he can't be all that racist. But Mark
Well,
Henry, you never know what to believe out of his mouth, man. He lies every time he opens his mouth.
and I've heard that about Michael Hayes, and I've never met the man. I follow him throughout his career. I think that people get him confused that he's been around so many black people and he just feels so comfortable that he says stuff that most people wouldn't dare say. And it's not, I don't
You know,
think it's an
Professor,
insult. I think it's just him being Michael Hayes. Nothing um negative about it. He's just used to being around so many different people. He feel comfortable.
Professor, they would tell you out of every brother that was in the locker room with me, that I was the most as far as my people go. They'll let you know that quick. And Michael Hayes has never said, I don't know if he's scared of me or what, but he has never said anything even close to racist to me. Never. Every time he see me, He come hug me. Hey, what's up, my brother? I appreciate you, man, being up here and this, that. Never said anything to me like that. That's why I find that hard to believe what Mark Henry is saying. I mean, it could have happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I can't see Michael Hayes doing that, man.
So you get to the WWF, and it's like it seemed like overnight they gave you the ball with the Intercontinental title, and
yes,
and then all of a sudden, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I get there, and then the first match I have is Slim Yokozuna, and I'm like, man, they don't want me here. They make me slam this 600-pound dude. I can't pick him up. But then it was so, it was sad, Professor, that when I got there, the brothers act like I was a germ or disease or something. They were so jealous of me. They wouldn't speak to me. They wouldn't help me in nothing. And Yoko too. And I would remember when I had to go to Yoko, Vince told me to go to Yoko and tell Yoko that I'm going to slam him at in this match. And so I went and told Yoko, I'm going to slam him in his match. And he looks at me and says, well, I hope you can get me up because I'm not helping you. I'm not jumping and helping you. And I didn't know how to take that, man. And so when I went out there, he didn't jump not one step. All that strength me picking up Yoko was pure, raw country boy strength. I picked his big butt up and slammed him anyway. And he was freaking out. Everybody in the back was freaking out. It was just one of them things,
Right. So your run seemed to end very quickly. I know you had gotten hurt at a point.
Uh-huh.
And and this is again me just being a wrestling fan and looking, I thought that when you came back, they didn't put you in a good light. It seemed like they would start something with you and then just drop it in the middle of after the match. It was dropped. Then they would start something else, then they drop it with no thought or anything. Was that the case, or?
No, you hit that right on the head, man. When I came back from my injury, I was still Intercontinental champion. Matter of fact, I still haven't lost the Intercontinental belt. Nobody ever fought me for it. They put it up for like a tournament or something. But when I came back from the injury, man, it was like, they didn't forget about me, but they didn't put me in the spotlight like I was, because before I got injured, me and Steve Austin was going at it. Me and Undertaker was going at it. And then they were talking about having the beef between me and Shawn Michaels. And then I got back from injury, all that went out the window.
Wow. One thing that just popped in my mind, how did you get along with Hawk and Animal of the Road Warriors?
With Animal, I didn't get along too well with him. Animal had his little thing, his little race thing. With Hawk, man, that was like my brother, man. Hawk was the coolest dude on earth. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't a time when he wasn't high. I mean, he was high 24/7. Let's get that straight. He was either drunk or high, but he was a good dude, man. If he liked you, he'd give you clothes off his back, man.
When they put y'all together, and then I think it was Sean, I think y'all all did a Survivor Series match together, if I remember correctly.
We had the Chicago Street Fight. It was me,
that's
Hawk and Animal, and against Nation Domination.
Yeah, I do. Okay. That again, just the look alone, it just, y'all together was like everybody should have got mowed over Whatever
Yes.
y'all wanted, y'all should have it.
That's
So,
why they put it in that Chicago street fight.
so
Yeah,
speaking
because
of
every
the
man for
nation of
himself. Every man
domination,
do what you got to do.
right? Speaking of
We do it
the
now.
nation, speaking of the nation, they you were feuding against them and Ron Simmons. Then I think you got hurt again, and when you came back, they put you in the nation. Um, how did you like that transition from fighting them to being a part of them?
Well, I didn't like it for several reasons. Um, One of the reasons is I was drawing a bunch of fans to the show. Ron Simmons was drawing fans to the show. And me and Ron we were made for each other in the ring, man. And then when they put me with the nation, I thought it was stupid because to me it was too powerful. And then I remember when they took me out the nation, Vince called us all to his office, and he says, "I want you guys to have a seat and look at this tape." And he put a tape in, and it's the nation, we're walking down the ramp. And he stopped the tape. And he said, "Do you see what I see? This is Vince McMahon." He said, "Look, man," he said, "there's nobody that's going to believe that Ahmed Johnson and Farouk can be beat with everybody else behind them." He said, y'all are too powerful, man." He said, "It's just too powerful." He said, I don't have a tag team to put up against y'all." So he said, "Ahmed, I hate to ask you, man, but you're going to have to jump back out the nation." I was like, "You just got me in there. I just make my fans mad, cuss my fans out. Now I got to go back and apologize." So that's how that started and ended.
Yeah, to me it didn't make any sense to put you in because you and
No,
Farouk had such an issue. Then you're in, then all of a sudden it's like he changed his mind. Like, nope, let's just jump him and kick him out. It was like a waste of a great story that could have been if they would have
yes,
just left it alone.
yes. I always wanted him to just break off Ron and let me and Ron Simmons tag team up, which would have been a powerful tag team. But I think the ultimate match, I would have wanted to see us, me and Ron, against the Road Warriors
Oh
in a
yeah.
match. That would have put some butts and some seats there.
Oh yeah.
That's what I wanted.
So let's jump to um, where you left WWE. When you left, were you doing any independence, or were you just out of the business for a while?
No, I just kind of cut the business loose, man, from that point. Just cut the
Oh,
business loose. But you know why I
okay.
left, right?
I'm sorry.
You know why I left, right?
No, I have ideas, but I don't know why.
Well, first of all, my sister was sick with cancer, my baby sister. So she was on her last bed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was about to pass away soon. And she was a big WWF fan, and she loved seeing her brother on there, do what he do. And they called me off one day. They had this thing written up with the Truth Commission. The Truth Commission was that group from South Africa while the apartheid was going on. It was a group
Right. I
from
remember
South
them.
Africa. And what
Right.
they wanted to do, they wanted for me to let them hang me with a rope. I said, "Do what?" And Vince was like, "I want them to hang you from a rope." I was like, "Did you know how many of my black people have been hung from the rope, Vince? That's not even funny, man." I said that hurt a lot of people's feeling and bring some bad memories back. I said, "No, man, I'm not doing that."
Right.
And I said, if that's what you want me to do, then I'll just get my stuff and leave right now. So that's just what I did.
And I wish I
I
could
wasn't
say
going to embarrass the culture, man.
and I was just sitting here. I wish I could say I can't believe that, but I can believe it because Vince, some of the ideals and stuff that he got away with doing on TV. Honestly, I'm super
Yeah,
surprised that I understand he's the boss. I understand, but I'm surprised there hadn't been more people like Bret Hart to punch him in his face.
exactly. You know, he walked out the locker room and when he called Booker T, he walked out the locker room. I don't know if you remember this episode. He walks out and says to Booker T, "What's up, my nigga?"
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you
Unfortunately,
don't go that far with it, man. But you know,
yeah.
you got some people
Unfortunately, I
out there
remember
that'll
that
let you do
episode.
that just for $1. But I wasn't finna embarrass my culture, man. I wasn't finna do it. A lot of people stood behind me. They were behind me, you know, for WWF. And that I just wasn't going to embarrass my people by being hung from a rope
And,
with
and
three white guys standing around me, you know, beating me.
I definitely appreciate you for standing on your morals because, like you said, there's only
Yes,
so much
sir.
you can do, and money is not gonna make your morals be your morals. That's
No,
ridiculous.
Professor,
Um,
if I'd have done that, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't have been able to live myself, man.
I definitely understand that, and again,
Yeah,
I
I wouldn't have
appreciate
been able to live myself because they would have.
yeah, I appreciate
You
you
know, I
standing on
wish
your
more brothers
morals.
did appreciate it. They just don't understand it, man. Yes, sir.
So, I'm so sorry that your sister passed away and everything, and that cancer
Thank
is a
you.
nasty disease.
Oh, yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
how did you get taught back into wrestling?
From WCW,
Yes, sir.
you mean when I went to WCW?
Yes.
Stevie Ray called me, man. Stevie Ray called and was like, him and Booker was having some problems. And they didn't really want to tag up anymore. He didn't want to tag with Booker anymore. So he called me and asked me could I tag with him. And man, I had been home for like a year, not doing nothing, sitting back, eating bonbons, getting fat. I was like, man, I don't really want to do it. Then I thought, this is Stevie Ray, my boy who I grew, you know, kind of grew up with. And we fought on each other's sides in the streets. We had many street fights together against people. And I was like, I can't tell Stevie no. So I told him, yeah, I'll come do it, man. I'll come do it with you. And Professor, that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my career because I was not ready to go back. I wasn't in shape. I wasn't mentally ready. I just went because, you know, Stevie asked me to come and tag with him.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything that I watched with you when you were in WCW, it, it looked like you didn't want to be there.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I mean,
So,
there were some good guys in WCW, a lot better guys than WWF. I got along with guys in WCW a lot better than I did WWF.
so let's talk about some of your personal stuff that people do not know about Ahmed. You were telling me before we got on there about a very great accomplishment that you do not get recognized for. Why don't you go ahead and tell the fans what that is?
Yeah, it's called the Most Distinguished Honor Graduate, and it's given to somebody once a year in the military. I mean, there's like 2,000 soldiers fighting for this award, and I'm the first black to win it out of Fort Sill. And it's called Distinguished Undergraduate, which means you top everybody else in everything, from aptitude tests, from PT tests, from navigational tests, to you name it, I beat them all out. And I was rewarded that from the United States military, from General Constantine. And it was great, man. It was the best feeling I ever had in my life.
That is great to hear. You and this is going to be kind of a silly question because of what we just talked about. But when you first got into wrestling, did you have the mindset that you wanted to represent Black people well?
Yes. Yes, that was very, very important to me when I got in there. And that's why I took the name Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed means, in African terminology, Ahmed means worthy of praise. And Johnson, people don't realize, was the most commonly used name for slaves back in slave days.
Oh, wow.
Their last names were Johnson. So I wanted to honor Africa and my ancestors who've been put down. That's why I came with the name Ahmed Johnson.
Wow. When you won the Intercontinental title, what was going through your mind as far as getting that prestigious title run in the short period that you were there?
Well, Professor, I was glad on one hand and sad in the other hand. I was glad on one hand that I was the first African American in history to do it. But then I started thinking about that the Black wrestler that came before me that should have got it, like Junkyard Dog, Thunderbolt Patterson, Ernie Ladd, Bad News Brown, just names that should have been champions before me. So on one hand, I was happy that I was able to break that barrier. But on the second hand, I was kind of hurt that these brothers didn't get a chance to do it.
But the thing I think about, and it again, I try not to, and I realize I do it every show, but I try to look at things for a reason, because Ernie Ladd, Thunderbolt Patterson, Junkyard Dog, Butch Reed, all of them came before you, but they laid a foundation.
Yes.
And the foundation they laid was such a great honor to follow them and to elevate yourself just a little bit more. And I think that any Black wrestler would be proud of that moment. Again, like one of the things that always stick out, they always say is with Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson were the first WWE World Tag Team Champions. No matter what happens beyond that, there will never be a first before them. And they brought prestige, and clearly you brought something that they thought, hey, you know what? He got it. He has it. And we want him to continue to run with it, because any title that you get, you're representative of that company. And I think that they were proud of, like, hey, let's make sure he's seen as what we see him as. So
right.
That's
I got to talk to Ernie Ladd.
Yeah. Ernie Ladd had did so much for the business. And funny enough,
Right, yes.
as a kid, my parents again were in the wrestling big too. But I met Thunderbolt Patterson as a kid, and I met him.
Thunderbolt.
It was the funniest thing. He was playing cards with my mother, where she played cards at. I walked in, and I think for whatever reason, I was thinking Ernie Ladd was going to be there. I walked in and saw Thunderbolt, and this is what I told him. And thank God I was a kid; I knew no better. I was like, "Oh, it's just Thunderbolt. Where's Ernie?" You know.
Oh man.
No, you know what? And I'm sitting here telling the story revert. It was actually reversed. It was Ernie Ladd I met, and I wanted Thunderbolt. That's what it was. And I told him, "Oh, you're not Thunderbolt." And I went
Okay,
and sat in
you
the
meant
car,
Ernie.
and I went and sat in the car and waited until my mom was done, not realizing I was in front of a giant of not just football,
Man.
wrestling, just a great and a very nice and humble man. And as a kid, I'm like, you ain't Thunderbolt.
No, but Thunderbolt Patterson is something else, man.
So I want to ask you about today's product. Do you keep up with it any?
Not at all.
So
Not at
it,
all. I don't think they're doing the brothers right. I was watching the program and saw how they kept getting pushed back and farther back in the cards. So I stopped watching it, period.
the
But
one
there's a lot of brothers that deserve a good push up there.
yeah, I think so. And I one of the things I always have to put in my mind is let's do the business the right way. And a lot of people feel like WWE has not did the blacks that well. Now, with that being said, we've had Kofi Kingston be a world champion. We've had Big E be a world champion. Uh, we've had Bobby Lashley. Um, uh, my girl Bianca Belair from Knoxville. She's been a world champion.
Uh-huh.
Now, with all that being said, and even in other companies like Swerve Strickland has been doing fabulous work in AEW.
Yeah.
With all that being said, do you think the opportunities now are better than the opportunities were when you were wrestling?
Yeah, because when I got there, Professor, I had to be the one that opened that door. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My my mind was set on other and the Kuwait. I knew it was on, but within Kuwait, I won the Kuwaiti championship. Then I won this with South Africa. I won the South African championship. Then that's when I started going. You know, carry title, and I became the title. Put the championship shot on Michael, but you know what he did? He went and told Vince that he didn't think that America was ready for a black champion.
Wow. And considering that you had Ron Simmons, who won the damn title at WCW in your organization, wow.
Yes, yes. And for him to say that, you know, America, he didn't think they were ready for a black champion. Who are you to speak for America? and act
Yeah.
like he was doing me a favor. Yeah, man, I just didn't want you to go out there and get booed or nothing, and fans turned against you. And I didn't ask you to look out for me. I'm my own man. I can handle mine. But that was so much crap. That whole thing was crap. It's just that he didn't want to get the belt up to a black guy.
So, and here's another. I know it's going to be a dumb question, but the politics in wrestling, it seems like it's more politicking than doing a great show to build great entertainment.
Yes,
Was that a point
yes.
of where it irritated you that you just couldn't go and have good matches without somebody wanting to block you or take your spot or keep you down?
Yes, yes. But I got to be honest with you, Professor. The brothers were trying to hold me down worse than the white boys were.
Wow.
That's God honest truth. I thought that once I broke that barrier down in the WWF, that they would be proud and be happy. And now we got the door open. Now what we're gonna do is put our foot in it. But no, what they wanted to do was shut the door. They were more jealous and more upset about me winning the Intercontinental title than the white guys were.
Wow.
And that's just straight up.
With everything we've talked about tonight, would you go and be inducted in, if they called you right now and said, hey, Ahmed, we want to have you in the Hall of Fame, would you go?
I don't really know. It depends on what the money was like. Because, I know I need to be in there and I deserve to be in there. Because how can you have a Hall of Fame and not have the first black Intercontinental champion in history in the Hall of Fame? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. So I would have to really sleep on that one.
I'm definitely not in your place. And Lord knows I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I would give you a little advice. Again, who am I? Because I didn't do anything in wrestling, but I would think of it this. I would have a thought about this while you're thinking about it. Think about where if you got that opportunity, that how many people would be super happy to see you in that Hall of Fame because you're deserving. And a lot of times
Thank you.
we get a lot of things that we don't think we're worthy of or anything, but we have to get out of ourselves and be able to let the fans enjoy it. And what I mean by that is I got put into a Hall of Fame this year, and I was lucky and blessed. I didn't want to
Uh-huh.
do it. I just said no because I felt like it's a slap in the face to the guys who actually went out and busted their ass night after night up and down the road. I never did that. The only thing I do is talk
Right.
to wrestlers, promoters, just help push the business, help young guys and girls get a chance to network. And I didn't think I was worthy. My
Yes.
buddy told me this. He said, man, you've done so much for the business. You're deserving because you're very respectful. You help people see
Yes.
different federations that they may not, and you're about helping. He said you deserve it just as much as them, and he was a wrestler. I had to, like you, I had to really think about it, and I realized it wasn't just for me, it was for fans of mine. So I was glad that I took that
Right.
honor. I'm glad that my father got to look down from heaven to see his baby get the honor, because he knew how much I love wrestling. I know how much he loved it. So sometimes we have to get out of our own way to do for our fans.
Right.
Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you that little thing to think
Well,
about,
you
it, the
you
opportunity to
definitely give
get
me
some
something to think
joy.
about. You
Because
you
I know a
definitely gave
lot
me
of people would
some more
love to see
additive to
you
think
in there.
about. Yeah, I know the black fans would love to see me do it, and if I did it, I would do it more for them than myself. Because, like you
Yeah.
said, I earned it, and and if it'll make my fans happy, I would probably definitely do it.
Well, sir, like I said, and every time we've talked, I know it's probably getting on your nerves by now, but I have to do it. I want to thank you for taking the time out,
No,
because you didn't have to do this, and I appreciate
thank
you
you.
getting you giving me a chance to talk to you. I get to talk again. How many people get a chance to talk to a legend? And then I talked to two back to back on my show. So I thank you. I appreciate what you've done for the business. I hope that everything in your life continues to go well. And I didn't even mention this or ask, how are you feeling after the accident? Are you feeling better?
Well, no, we went to the doctor day for yesterday, and my foot has been hurting me, and from the accident. And we went and then found out I've been walking around on a broken toe. I broke my toe during the accident. I broke
Oh
my toe,
wow.
broke my rib, my lungs got bruised up, my neck and shoulder. But I thank God that I don't know if you've seen the car, how banged
Yes,
up
I
it
did.
was.
Yeah.
But I
Woo.
thank God, yeah, but I thank God that He got me out of it, because I was in there with my wife and my daughter was in there too.
Oh
And the
wow.
Lord stepped in and put his hand down and was like, I'm protecting y'all. And the Lord sends angels to protect around us. And I'm thankful, man. I'm just thankful.
Yeah, I didn't realize your wife and daughter was in there, or I would have been asking about their health too.
Yeah,
But are they doing okay?
yeah. Because this dude was going 100 miles an hour. Yeah, they're all banged up too, but they're okay. They're just banged up.
Uh, well, I'm glad to hear they're okay. A little banged up is better than not breathing. So
Yes, sir.
we're going to thank the Lord again for that blessing. And I'm going to thank you
Yes,
once
sir.
again for doing my show. And like I tell any of my guests, if you feel like you want to come back on, you want to talk about something, you have an open invitation. And uh, one other thing, the when you got the Intercontinental title from Gold Dust, and he had the gold one, I thought to myself, you need to keep it gold, make them have it gold, because that was fire. That belt was fire.
I kept the belt. I didn't even turn it back in. I kept it.
Oh, well, good man. That's good. That was. It's one of those.
I think I'm
There's
the first black champion in history. Hey,
that I was gonna say. There's certain points when I start talking about the Intercontinental title, and my mind goes immediately to certain points, and to see you, in my mind, beat Goldust and have that title, I was like, it's Ahmed's title now. I don't care anybody else get it. If it's gold,
Oh yeah,
it ain't right.
right. And the fact that nobody ever beat me for the title. I mean, they took it from me and had a tournament for it. Nobody's ever beat me for the Intercontinental title. So as far as I see it, I'm still Intercontinental champion.
Well, if I dared to wrestle you, I would try to pick now that you banged up. Maybe I have a slight chance.
Yeah, you give a chance now.
Oh,
I
one
got
other
to
thing.
step on that toe.
One other thing I would like to talk about before we go is we talked about it. You're from my home. You were here in my hometown, Knoxville, Tennessee, and I wish you could
Yep.
have seen my face, because anybody that ever comes through Knoxville, I always think, "Oh, you one of my guys now." It's like you, Bianca Belair. It's like, no, you're part of the family now. And since I saw that, I consider you a part of my family.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be part of your family, bro.
I appreciate you again. Guys, girls, thank you so much for joining us. And as I always like to leave you, remember, there are more than WWE and AEW. If you get a chance, go support independent wrestling. I'm telling you, you never know who you would see
Yes.
who will be a big star. Again, and didn't even think about, I saw Ahmed, I saw Booker and Stevie Ray, I saw X-Pac, Sean Waltman, Jerry Lynn, Mick Foley. All of them wrestled in the GWF, and all of them became stars. You never know who locally, and you never know who will become big stars. And you get your money's worth by going to an independent. You get to actually meet the wrestlers, talk to them. They put on a show. It's like a more intimate setting that I promise you, you
Yes.
will enjoy and get your money's worth out of. So, again, thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for taking that time. I am Professor Bear. This is Ahmed Johnson, and this was A Bear's Thought. Y'all have a great, great evening.